On the record at 4:42 p.m.
Okay, I know we've been over this, so I'll be quick, but I wanted to show you Exhibit 26, which is the meeting minutes for the meeting of July 20, 2018. Could you take a look at that, please?
Okay.
Do you recognize that document?
Yes.
Did you create that document?
Yes.
Okay. And so in this document, you're indicating at the top, board members present, Linda Bass, Dorothy Malveaux, parentheses, quorum, two out of three members, dash, majority, close parentheses. You wrote that. Is that yes?
Yes.
And board member not present, Tom Olson. So there's two members of the board present at this July 20, 2018
Right.
meeting, correct?
Right.
And the two of you voted on that day to terminate the association's relationship with Susan Rice, correct?
Yes.
And the two of you voted to hire a new lawyer for the association, correct?
Yes.
And the two of you voted to appoint Tony Lawrence and Ellen Pollock to fill the vacancies on the board at the next board meeting on August 6th, correct?
Yes.
So my question is, if August 6th is 16 days, 17 days off, why not just wait to address all board business until you have more members on the board?
Objection 4.
Well, we had, like I said, we needed to do some things right away.
Like getting rid of Susan Rice.
Yes.
Objection 4.
And the two of you voted to remove Tom Olson and Gloria Cox from the Wells Fargo accounts.
Yes.
Why did you want Gloria Cox removed?
Because she resigned.
Why did you want Tom Olson removed?
Because he was the only one on the account, and Gloria Cox called me and asked me before she resigned to come back and help her because she did an audit and she felt that he was misappropriating the money, the funds.
Did she explain why she thought that?
She did audit on petty cash and some of the other funds.
But did she give you details as to how he was misappropriating money?
Well, she said that, she was the treasurer. Money was missing, and that he was not accounting for it.
Did she say how much money was missing?
She had it. I guess it's in the office.
Do you know the amount she said as you sit here today?
No, I don't know the exact amount. She just asked me to come back to help.
And then you have an item here that says a discussion was held regarding the March 5 annual election that was improperly and illegally held as advised by legal counsel Susan Rice, who was present at the meeting. Didn't Susan Rice in fact tell you that the election was properly and legally handled?
Objection 4.
She just said that we had to count the votes. That's what she said.
And by votes, you mean the proxies?
Yes.
So as you sit here today, you don't know if I asked you to identify sums that Tom Olson misappropriated, you would be unable to do that. Is that correct?
I don't have the details. Gloria Cox had that.
Well, can you provide me any information regarding the sum that you
No,
believe he misappropriated?
I can't recall because I don't have the documentation in front of me.
What documentation
The
are you
documents
referring
that
to?
she had, that she did an audit.
Do you know what that audit? Did you ever review the document?
No, she was a treasurer, so she did some audits on the account, the statements, and the petty cash.
Do you believe Tom Olson was responsible for any unauthorized expenses while he was on the board of directors?
Objection form.
Yes.
And what is the total amount of the unauthorized expenditures he's responsible for?
I don't have a total
Why do you believe they were unauthorized?
because the treasurer told me that.
Gloria Cox told you that.
Who was responsible for the money, the funds.
Any other bases other than what Gloria Cox told you?
Well, yeah, it was other people that thought that, he was doing stuff.
What are the names of the other people?
I can't recall everybody. I mean, a lot of stuff was on that site too about what he did or what other people did, and so it was a lot of, yeah.
Do you believe any of the unauthorized expenditures of Tom Olson were for his benefit as opposed to the benefit of Sterling Green?
Objection form.
Yes, I assume that. Mm-hmm.
You assume they were for his personal benefit.
Yes.
Objection.
Why do you assume that?
Objection
Because, I just feel that. I felt that. I felt
And
that.
do you have any bases for that other than intuition?
form. Objection form.
And things that other people may have told me, like you asked me earlier about the equipment,
So somebody told you, you think he bought equipment for his own personal benefit?
Yeah.
What equipment?
I'm not sure, phones, cell phones, or I forgot whatever else.
Do you think he bought cell phones for his own benefit?
I'm not sure, yeah, but that's what I heard.
Any other equipment?
Yeah, well, I know that under the receiver, he had bought laptop and some other equipment with HOA funds, and the receiver told him he needed to return it by a certain date. And it wasn't, and I got a copy of the email, and it was not, he didn't return it like she told him to.
Did Tom Olson terminate Unique Security?
I guess he did, yes.
Do you know the owners of Unique Security?
No, I don't know him personally, just, business-wise.
Do you believe the decision to terminate the Unique Security contract was, by Tom Olson, was not made in good faith?
Objection form.
He made a lot of decisions on his own, and, it's like, I don't know what.
Do you know the reasons he terminated the Unique Security contract?
No, I don't.
Were there occasions on which the Unique Security Guard did not patrol the grounds at Sterling Green because there was no gas in the Unique Security vehicle?
Objection form.
Well, you asking me a question?
Yes.
And there was no gas in the vehicle?
Yes. Were there occasions on which Unique Security Guards did not patrol Sterling Green because there was no gas in the Unique Security
I
vehicle?
think that occurred once, yes. Mhm.
Did Unique Security, to your knowledge, give its employees gas cards and then refuse to refill the gas cards?
Objection form.
They had gas cards.
Objection unresponsive. To your knowledge, did Unique Security refuse to refill the gas cards?
Objection form.
What gas cards? I don't know what you're talking about.
I believe you just said, yes, they have gas cards.
No, they supplied their own gas for their
Did you ever
vehicles.
give money to Unique Security employees to purchase gasoline?
I don't recall
Objection
that,
form.
because the company is supposed to supply the car and the gas.
So you never gave Unique employees,
I do not
let
recall.
me finish the question. You never gave Unique Security employees cash for the purchase of gasoline and then deducted the amount that you gave them from the sum that you paid to Unique
No.
every month on behalf of the association?
No, I don't recall that. I wouldn't have done that.
Do you recall unique security guards spending time in the office?
Objection form.
No, not unless it was something that we needed to talk to them about.
Do you believe the termination of unique security was done without authority?
Yes,
Why do you believe that?
because the rest of the board was not aware of it.
Unique security was fired between April and July of 2018.
I'm not sure. I can't remember. I can't recall.
Is that when Tom Olson served on the board between
Objection form.
2018.
Did you review the minutes of the Board of Directors for 2018 to see if there was any authorization provided to Tom Olson to terminate that contract?
No, I didn't see any authorization.
Do you know what the president's duties and powers are under the bylaws and declarations?
To conduct the meetings, to conduct the meetings when we have the meetings and some other things.
Sterling Green filed its petition and intervention against Olson on or about August 6, 2018. Do you believe Zach Huang performed work in connection with Sterling Green's lawsuit against Olson?
Objection form.
What was that?
Do you believe an attorney named Zach Huang performed work in connection with the lawsuit filed by Sterling Green against Tom Olson?
Did he file a suit?
No. Did he perform work in connection with that lawsuit?
Yes, he did.
What did he do?
I don't know. He represented the HOA
Did he represent the HOA in that lawsuit or in something else?
in that lawsuit. The lawsuit that he filed against me, right? Yeah.
So you're saying that Zach Huang was an attorney for Sterling Green?
Yes.
Did Susan Rice perform any work in connection with the lawsuit filed against Tom Olson by Sterling Green?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, we got rid of her in July, and then we hired Zach.
Do you know who Eve Engelhardt is?
Yes.
Who?
She was a receiver.
Do you know who Mitch Katine is?
He was a receiver as well.
Do you know who Seth Kretzer is?
I think he was a receiver as well.
Did any of them perform work in connection with Sterling Green's lawsuit against Tom Olson?
Objection
Work
form.
for Sterling Green in that lawsuit?
Objection form.
I'm not sure. I know the receivers were assigned by the court to, help to run.
What changes were made with regard to employees, such as hiring and terminations, while Olson was on the Board of Directors?
Objection form.
I know he made some changes with the employees. He promoted a couple employees and raised their salaries.
What employees?
Catherine Harbotto and Safe Shabby, whatever his last name is.
Do you believe that those raises were inappropriate?
Yes, I do.
Objection
Why?
form.
Because
Objection
it
form.
was too much for what they did.
And how much were the raises?
I don't know. I heard that one was, I think they were $29 or something like that. It was more than I ever made.
Do you know who Andy Garza is?
Yes, I heard of him.
in 2018, Sterling Green borrowed $4,300 for him to make payroll. Sterling Green has never paid back Garza.
Form, if that was the question.
Was there a legal document?
My question is, do you think that that the board of directors borrowing money from Andy Garza while Olson was on the board was unwarranted or unwise?
Objection form.
The board of directors didn't have asked him for any money. That was between the two of them.
Do you believe that decision, by two of them, you mean Olson and Garza?
Yes.
Do you believe that decision of Olson was unwise?
Yes, it was.
Objection
Why?
form.
If it happened.
Objection form.
Did you refuse to pay the employees during the month of August 2018?
I was not the treasurer, and I was not my decision not to pay employees.
Were you the manager in August 2018?
No, I wasn't. I was terminated.
You were on the board of directors in August 2018?
Yes, I was.
Were the employees paid their usual wages during August 2018?
Yes, we had a treasurer.
That was not my question. Were the employees paid their usual wages at the usual time in August 2018?
Yes, they were.
Objection form.
They were.
Yes, as far as I know.
Objection form.
Did you remove money from a bank account in 2018?
Objection form.
It was not a decision on my own, the board, it was a board decision.
And do you claim the board directed you to remove money from a bank account?
It was
Objection
not-
form.
It was not personal, and I didn't vote, I didn't do it.
That is not my question. Was money removed from a checking account of Sterling Green in August 2018?
Objection form.
Objection form.
It was not removed, it was transferred
It
from
was
one account to
transferred,
another.
okay. And did the transfer of that money prevent the payment of wages to Sterling
Not
Green
at all,
employees?
not at all.
While Olson was on the board, Sterling Green paid Patrick Keys, a web designer, $2,000 to bring the website of Sterling Green into compliance with statutory requirements. Do you contend Olson paid Patrick Keys without authority?
Objection form.
Right, yes.
And did the April 2nd, 2018 meeting authorize Olson to pay Keys?
Objection form.
Objection
I
form.
was not there on April 2nd.
Do you know what the statutory requirements are for the website of a homeowners association?
The statutory
Objection form.
requirements,
Yes,
as far as what?
as far as the information that must be provided on the website of a homeowners association.
Yeah,
Objection
pretty
form.
much,
What are the requirements?
We put things on the website that, for the homeowners to be knowledgeable about what they need to know.
That was not my question. My question is, what are the requirements?
I
You
don't
said
know.
you know what they are.
I don't know here, sitting here, I don't know.
You know who Sarah Bass is?
I don't know her, heard of her.
She's a professional homeowners association manager. She was paid $960 by Olson on behalf of the association to head up a committee to reform the deed restrictions with the goal of establishing and filing deed restrictions that were in compliance with applicable laws. Deed restrictions and deed restriction violations. Do you dispute or disagree with his decision to do that?
Objection form.
Yes, it was done without board approval.
Did you ever, during the time after you were notified by council that the deed restrictions were not compliant with the law, did you ever, or did Sterling Green ever, formulate and publish deed restrictions that were in compliance with the
Yeah,
law.
Objection
yeah,
form.
when we were working on that to make sure that we were in compliance.
Did you complete the process?
No, I didn't.
Deborah Cox, a notary public, was voted out of office in 2018, correct?
Yes,
And you were a notary public, correct?
yes,
And you left the employment of Sterling Green in 2018, correct?
yes.
Did Sterling Green have any notary publics after after Cox and you left Sterling Green?
I don't know, I guess Kathy Hairbottle.
Tom Olson arranged to purchase notary public equipment, including a bond, book stamp. Let me strike that. Olson arranged to purchase notary public equipment for himself and manager Kathy Harbottle. Do you dispute or question his decision to do that?
Yes,
Why?
because he was doing stuff without board approval.
Was your notary public equipment paid for by the board?
Objection 4.
Every year, I had it when I went there, but while I worked there, yes, I used it for the HOA. That's all I used it for, and yeah, they renewed it through the HOA.
Did you have to pay any money, or did anyone pay any money to the state for notary equipment for your use while you were with Sterling Green?
Objection 4.
The HOA renewed it. I didn't use my notary for another purpose than for the HOA.
So the HOA renewed it.
Yes.
Can you cite or provide for us resolutions or minutes of a meeting of the Board of Directors in which they authorized payment for your notary public equipment?
Objection 4.
Can I give you what?
Identify the date in which there were minutes or resolution or other documents indicating the board approved on that date the purchase of notary equipment for you?
I've used it, I had my notary before I went to the HOA. So if I used it and they approved for me to get it renewed, yeah, that was documentation.
Okay, when did they approve it? What date?
Objection 4.
I can't recall.
Following Tom Olson's departure from Sterling Green demanded the return of the notary public equipment he had purchased for his use for the benefit of Sterling Green. Tom Olson refused to return it. There is an opinion of the Attorney General of the state of Texas that says because a notary public is commissioned as an individual without reference to the person's employer, Chapter 406 of the Texas Government Code indicates that an employer may not take possession or transfer that individual's commission book or seal upon termination of the individual's employment. My question is, do you think in light of that opinion, which is opinion number GA 0723 of June 17, 2009, do you think in light of that opinion, Tom Olson was obligated to return the notary public equipment that he purchased for himself for Sterling Green work?
Objection 4.
Objection
Do you feel Tom Olson should have returned the notary public equipment?
Objection 4.
Who asked him to return it?
That's not my question. My question is, do you believe he should have returned it?
Objection.
We have to do whatever the law says to do.
Did Tom Olson ask you for your notary public book or stamp when you were terminated?
No, he didn't.
Objection 4.
He did not?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
I had it when I went there.
Do you believe Tom Olson has a credit card reader that belongs to Sterling Green?
I've never heard about the credit card reader.
Do you believe Tom Olson has a iPad Pro or an access code to an iPad Pro that belongs to Sterling Green?
I'm not sure exactly what it was that he had. Only thing I knew was that the receiver asked him to return the equipment that was purchased with the HOA funds.
Do you believe Tom Olson removed a receipt scanner from the association offices?
I'm not aware if he did or not.
Do you believe Tom Olson removed a Samsung Galaxy mobile phone from the Sterling Green office?
And he may have.
Do you know one way or the other?
No, I don't know one way or another. I was not in the office. Have not been in the office.
Do you believe that Tom Olson removed or destroyed a 15-inch flat screen TV from the Sterling Green offices?
I'm not sure if he did or not.
Do you know if he had it replaced?
I'm not sure. I haven't been in the office.
Do you know what the term good faith means?
And do stuff right.
Okay, so my question is, with regard to any of the acts of Tom Olson involving contracts, employment, expenditures, purchases, hirings, termination, insurance, do you believe that any of those decisions were made with less than ordinary care?
Objection 4.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Which ones?
Well, with him doing things without board approval.
I wasn't asking if they were board approved. I'm asking if they were made with less than ordinary care.
Objection 4.
I don't know whether
Okay.
they were or not.
Do you believe any of those decisions were not made in good faith?
Objection 4.
Decisions that he made?
Yes.
I'm not sure. I mean, I know he did a lot of stuff that was not in good faith according to me or to other people.
And what were those things?
Doing things without board approval, for one.
Again, I'm not asking about board approval. I'm asking just about the issue of good faith. Do you believe
Well-
that any of the decisions Olson made or the acts he undertook were not made in good faith?
Objection 4.
Well, when the board should, the board should be more than one person running, making decisions.
Other than the issue of the board, do you think that any of those decisions were not made in good faith?
Yes, I don't know what they all are, but I know that, he's done stuff that he shouldn't have done.
Such
Like
as?
purchasing the equipment with HOA funds.
Other than the issue of board approval,
Mm-hmm.
let me ask it this way. Is your only issue with those decisions the fact that they were made without board approval, or is there another reason you object to the decisions that he made and the actions he undertook?
I don't know everything that he did. I was told things that he did, but things that he was like a one-man board. He did everything by his own decision. Most things.
Are you angry that Tom Olson fired you?
No, I'm not angry.
Do you know who Rosemary Jackson is?
No, I don't.
Do you know who Joshua Williams is?
No.
Do you believe Gloria Cox performed an audit?
She told me she did.
Did you ever see the results of that audit?
No, I didn't see everything. I know there was one, but I don't have the details.
Do you believe Tom Olson filed a lawsuit against you on behalf of the board, correct?
Yeah.
Do you believe he had authority to file suit?
No.
On July 20, 2018, at a meeting that has been claimed by some to have been a board meeting in which only 2 members of the board attended. The board took certain actions Do you believe those actions complied with all legal requirements despite the presence of only 2 persons at the meeting?
Objection form.
Yes. Mhm.
Close.
Do you believe Olson had authority to file that suit?
Objection form.
No.
Do you think actions being taken on behalf, allegedly taken on behalf of a board without a quorum warrant the filing of a lawsuit against the persons who took those actions on
Objection.
behalf of the board?
Objection form.
I don't know. All I know is that that was his decision alone to file a lawsuit against me.
Was it your decision alone at the July 20 meeting, you and Gloria Cox's decision to hold that meeting despite the fact only 2 persons attended?
Objection
It was
form.
only 3 people on the board, so to our understanding, 2 out of 3, because that's all we had, was the quorum.
You were informed after that meeting by a lawyer for the association that your understanding of the law on that issue was incorrect, weren't you?
Well, like I
Objection
said, I
form.
talked to
Objection
another
form.
attorney. He told me that that's the way it works.
But is my statement correct that an attorney informed you that your understanding of the law regarding a
You're talking
quorum?
Objection
about
form.
Susan
You don't have
Rice?
to answer that.
Yes,
Susan Rice, huh?
It's
Objection
privileged
form.
information.
Okay.
but the email does indicate that a quorum of 3 is required, correct?
Objection form.
That's what she said.
And by she, you mean Susan Rice?
Yes.
Did Olson ever intimidate you into any act, into undertaking any act that you would not otherwise have taken?
Did he intimidate me?
Yes.
Like what?
Any time. Did he ever intimidate you at any time into doing anything?
I'm not intimidated by him.
Well, I'm encouraged to hear that, but my question is, did you ever perform any acts or refrain from performing any acts because Tom Olson intimidated you?
No, I'm not intimidated by him. If you give me some specific, then I can answer that.
Well, I'm purposely not asking something specific because I'm not aware of any acts in which, any episodes in which he intimidated you. You were on the board and worked with him, I did not. That's why I'm asking it broadly, so I'll re-ask the question.
Objection
At any
form.
time, did you perform an act or refrain from performing an act because Tom Olson intimidated you?
Objection form.
No, I was not intimidated by him. I don't know what you're talking about.
You were never intimidated by him?
No.
Okay.
I'm close to 6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you aware of Olson ever intimidating anyone else on the board into taking actions or refraining from actions they would otherwise have undertaken?
Maybe one person.
Who?
Wanda Pate.
And what is it what did he intimidate her into doing or not doing?
He called her and this is what she told me. He called her and tried to intimidate her and tell her not to say anything or do anything or get involved.
Did she say how he intimidated her?
He told her some things, and her husband told her not to get involved in it.
What things did he tell her?
How to scare her off like he did everybody else.
Did he use profanity?
I'm not sure if he did or not.
How long have you known Sharon Provost?
A few years,
I'm sorry?
a few years,
Did you hire her?
yes,
What position did you hire her for?
office assistant.
What were her qualifications for office assistant when you hired her?
Able to use the computer and, you know, able to make decisions, and able to work with people and things like that.
She's in the room with us right now, correct?
Yes, she is.
And do you know what her occupation is today?
She's office manager, as far as I know. She's office manager for the
Is she-
HOA.
Is she employed by anyone other than Sterling Green?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Do you know what her, when you hired her, what had she done before she went to work for Sterling Green?
She had a previous job. I'm not sure what it was.
Did you know her before you hired her?
No, I didn't.
Did you check her references?
The agency did.
What agency is that?
Clayton Temporary Agency.
Did you perform a background check when you
No, I
hired her?
didn't. I'm not sure if I did or not. But the agency does that stuff.
Did she submit an application?
Yes, she did. Everyone that's hired fill out an application.
Does Sterling Green keep those applications?
Yes, we do.
Did she submit references?
If it's on the application, she did.
Do you know if Sharon Provost has a criminal record?
No, I'm not aware of it.
Did you ever check to see if she had a criminal record?
No, I didn't.
Who is Linda Bass?
She's a board member.
A current board member?
No,
Are you friends with her?
no, I'm a friend just from knowing her from the board, that's it.
Melissa Davis was charged with stealing $114,000 and she plea bargained it down to $84,000. If she herself stole $84,000 and $114,000 was missing, do you know what happened to the other $30,000?
No, I don't.
Objection for.
Did she work under your supervision in 2014 and 2015?
Yes, she did.
Did you give her authority to sign checks?
No, I didn't.
Did she write checks to herself?
Objection for.
Not that I was aware of at that time.
Did you check her references when you hired her?
Objection for.
The agency did.
What agency?
Objection
Clayton.
How did Melissa Davis steal the money?
Objection for.
She forged my signature on the checks.
Were you her primary supervisor?
Yes.
For.
The board meeting minutes of July 2nd, 2018 indicate that Sterling Green had about $7 million in its bank account at that time.
7 million.
Objection for.
No.
Could Melissa's theft have been prevented by balancing the checkbook of Sterling Green?
Objection for.
Yeah, it could have been. Mm-hmm.
Was it balanced while she was stealing that money?
Objection for.
Oh, yes, she was helping me to balance it. Mm-hmm.
And in helping you to balance it, was she able to cover up the fact that she was forging checks?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Who was the treasurer at that time?
I was.
Objection for.
Did you commission an audit after the theft occurred?
Yes.
Objection form.
Who performed the audit?
Objection form.
Not sure. Well, I did an audit. We did an audit with the bank.
There is an allegation in the third amended petition of Sterling Green that Olson admitted taking money for personal use at a July 2nd, 2018 meeting. Do you recall Olson admitting taking money for personal use at a meeting?
I don't recall that. Is that on the meeting, the minutes?
No. Olson contends that he accidentally used a Sterling Green debit card that was stored in his browser to pay a credit card bill, and that once he
Okay.
realized the error,
Okay.
he paid Sterling Green back in the form of a cash payment of $239 to Kathy Hairbottle. Do you have any reason to dispute his claim that he paid back the money to Kathy Hairbottle?
Objection.
Objection.
I'm not sure whether he did or not.
We will reserve the balance of our questions for trial.
I have a few questions. Earlier you were asked if you've ever been sued. Did you understand when that question was being asked?
Well, I thought that he meant like from other than Sterling Green, involving Sterling Green.
Okay.
That's what I thought
Okay.
he
So,
was talking about.
so sitting here today, have you been sued?
Yes, yes.
And then
yeah.
that's in the Sterling Green case.
Right, yes. Uh-huh.
And have you ever sued anybody?
I think it was part of the case with the other Attorneys Act, I had prepared to respond to this suit that he filed.
I pass the witness.
Mhm.
Just one question. Ms. Malveaux, has Tom Olson ever physically assaulted you?
Yeah, he did. Mhm.
How many times?
At least twice. I think it was one time in the office, he just bumped me, walked into me like that, and then the ladies in the office called the authorities. And then another time when we went there I think it was to give Kathy a letter or something. I think it was something about Sharon or whatever. And the same thing again.
How did he make physical contact with you?
Just, I'm coming out the office and he just walked just right straight at me and just kind of knocked me with his belly.
His belly touched you? Okay. And the first time you called the police?
Yes.
What about the second time?
Second time too.
Both times you called the
Mhm,
police? Did the
mhm.
police come out both times?
Yes.
Okay. Has he been, are you aware if he's been charged with any assault
No,
criminally?
no, I haven't heard anything about it.
Okay. No further questions?
On either occasion of these two occasions you're talking to, did you fall down?
No, he just pushed me back.
Did he put his hands on you?
No, he just pushed me with his belly.
Have you considered the possibility that on both of these occasions, Tom Olson came into physical contact with you by accident?
Objection form.
No, I don't think it was an accident.
Why don't you think it was an accident?
Because he was, just trying to show me that, he just trying to intimidate me, basically.
And did you exchange words after either incident?
No, I didn't.
Did you sustain injuries in either incident?
No, I didn't.
Did you say anything to Tom after either incident?
I didn't say anything, but the ladies in the office did.
Did you file, do you know if the police investigated both incidents?
I don't know whether it was investigated, but it was reported.
Did you file any sort of written report in connection with either incident?
No, I didn't.
Who were the witnesses to these incidents?
The first time it was Sharon and Kathy Hairbottle. Then the next time it was some people outside, Zanelle Hunter and Corey. And I think it was a couple other people, I don't.
Can you give me the first and last names of the people who observed the second incident?
Corey, what's Corey's last name? I don't know Corey's last name.
Anyone other than Corey?
Corey and Zanelle Hunter,
How do you spell Zanell?
Zenel.
Does Corey work for the association?
No, he doesn't.
Was he a member?
Yes.
And is Zanell Hunter a member of the
Yes.
association?
Mm-hmm.
Did they say anything to you after the incident?
Did they do what?
Did they say anything to you about it after the incident?
They just couldn't believe that it happened.
Did are you referring to Corey McKay?
Yes.
Did Corey McKay run for the board?
Yes, he did.
Was he elected?
No, he wasn't.
Did you feel traumatized by either incident?
No.
Did you seek psychiatric help in connection with either
No,
incident?
I didn't.
We will reserve the balance for our questions for trial.
Pass witness.
No further questions.
Signature?
Yeah, we're gonna.
All first step questions.